100% true. One of the best things about Pittsburgh is its collection, its community of nonprofits and organizations that are here to help, whether there's a pandemic or not. And we've been talking to quite a few of them through our 50 Summer Stories of Pittsburgh Tech. And today we have the Sarah Heinz House. We're talking to Jennifer Cairns, who is the executive director of Sarah Heinz House. And I love telling these stories with Comcast. Like I said, this has been the absolute highlight of my summer, because every time I hit the record button here on Zoom, I'm just talking to the most amazing people. And I'm just so excited to talk to you today, Jennifer, about all the great work that you're doing, what Sarah Heinz House is doing. It's making such a difference and such a positive impact here in Pittsburgh that I cannot wait to learn more. I cannot wait for our listeners and our viewers to learn more. So welcome to the show today. Thanks for being with me.
Thanks for having me, Jonathan, and hello to everybody else.
Very cool. So quickly, what's your background real fast? Who is Jennifer Cairns?
That's an interesting question. I'm just me, right? I'm a person who's just committed to kids and is getting to live out her dream at Sarah Heinz House, that it doesn't feel like work any day. But some would tell you that I'm a reformed lawyer, because I practiced law for 12 years before I jumped ship to really follow make my avocation my vocation. So I get to do that every day.
Very cool. What was it that made you decide I'm going to leave the world of law and do something like work for the Sarah Heinz House?
Well, all of my volunteerism and board service was around organizations that either advanced women or families. And so it really has spoken to me all my life, being someone who grew up with a single mom with 2 siblings and a deadbeat dad in the equation.
Oh boy.
I always looked to empower youth to realize that they could be anything that they wanted to be, and how to strengthen the women who are often sharing a lion's share of that load in raising up the next generation. And so this was just an opportunity to bring those passion and heart feelings together.
I love it. That's an amazing story on its own right there, as far as that is. So cool. And we all know the Heinz name here in Pittsburgh, of course. I just had some Heinz ketchup on my sweet potato tater tots at lunch today. But maybe people don't know exactly what the Sarah Heinz House is all about. Give us the quick little nickel tour of all the great work Sarah Heinz House is up to.
Yeah, thank you for that. I love talking about Sarah Heinz House. If I had a dime for every time someone drives past us on Route 28 and was like, I didn't know all that you did, I would never have to fundraise again. So if you pass by, just throw a dime out the window, make my job a lot easier. But I like to say that Sarah Heinz House is in the business of helping kids build great futures. And we do that and have been doing that for the last 120 years by exposing youth that long. We're really invested in exposing youth age 3 to 18 to meaningful mentor relationships, and then engaging them in out-of-school time activities that build character, that encourage physical and emotional wellness, that advance creativity, and that most importantly, develop workforce-ready skills so that they're ready to springboard out of Sarah Heinz House into the community.
That's what it's all about, being able to give people that head start, give them that extra support they need, give them that foundation. Just so important. Any idea how many students have kind of come through the doors over the years? It has to be just so many people that have been positively impacted by the Sarah Heinz House.
Yeah, I mean, it's tens of thousands. We serve nearly 1,200 youth a year over my last 7 years at Sarah Heinz House. So multiply that by 120.
That's a lot of kids, man. That's a lot of kids.
A lot of kids. Yeah.
So you must have a lot of joy on your face every day when you know that like what you're doing is playing such an active, just positive role in so many of these kids' lives, and really giving them that extra step that they need. I mean, how does that feel every day when you're coming to work and then you leave work? And like you said, it doesn't even feel like work. It just feels like you're just working in your life's mission, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have your challenging days, and you certainly lack the resources that a large law firm did. But what you're fighting for is meaningful. And if ever I'm having one of those challenging days, I need only walk out my office door, and a smiling kid running by me in the hallway is that boost of energy and injection to know, like, this is worth, nose to the grindstone, figure it out. And it's amazing to see a place where, kids can literally and figuratively unload the backpack of whatever they're carrying in their day. The minute they walk through our doors, they're seeing friends that they wouldn't normally see in the school setting or in their neighborhood. They're engaging with our staff and other adult volunteers who are those mentors and solid reinforcements in their lives, and just they run into the building and you can't help but be filled with joy.
I believe it. It's got to be one of the highlights of their day. That is absolutely for sure. So maybe give us a little overview of like, what are some of the key programs that you guys are running and everything like that? I know there's lots of stuff around STEAM and stuff like that. Like, what's happening there?
Yeah, so we take a holistic approach to the child, and I like to say we make them eat their vegetables, right? So
Okay.
if you're someone who likes STEAM, yeah, but you shy away from physical activity, you know, living a healthy physical and emotional life is equally as important. So we will engage you in something on our healthy choices side of our curriculum. The same way, if you were a young kid like me who just really loved to be active, I liked school, but when school was done, it needed to be done. Then they would say to young Jennifer, no, you got to pick something over here that's going to enrich you. And guess what? We slip in the learning through the fun, because this is not going to feel like school for you. So whether that is through a dance class, a robotics class, a digital arts class, a sustainable design class, or we have life skills classes for all of our age groups, so that they can develop those social emotional skills that are just so vital. You know, it's amazing that they have gone from being viewed as soft skills to now essential skills. And we really feel that that's a vital narrative change.
That's what I've been talking about so much with people, is the fact that it's learning, but they don't know they're learning is because you're engaging them in a creative way. You're getting into their passions and their interests. And so I just think it's just so powerful that that's how like kids now are learning and progressing. It's not just like, you're coming here and you're gonna learn these 5 things and then you'll get out of here. It's like, no, like you're doing something that you really want to do.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is that it's also changing in the school setting. You know, the school setting is becoming more like after school, where it is collaborative, team-based learning, project-based learning, which is what we've been doing for so long. It engages the student in a different way and engages the mind in a different way. And you know, I always say we're a place where kids can try and fail safely. And that is so important to learn at a young age, that you don't grow up fearful. You learn that, you know, this is an opportunity in a safe environment to spread your wings, try something new. Whether that's getting up in front of a room and public speaking, or whether that's engaging in a sports league because you don't feel like you're necessarily the most athletic, or whether it's trying something in STEM because you've been told that you're not good at science and math, so this could not possibly be a path for you, yet we put you in front of one of our Bebot robots and it's so intuitive, and the spark and the light goes on, and that's a fabulous moment to witness.
Oh, that's got to be just worth its weight in gold right there. When you see some student where they're feeling like they weren't supposed to be doing something, and they're introduced to it in a different way, and all of a sudden they catch on to it and they become really great at it, and it gets their passion going. That's just got to be so amazing.
Yeah, anytime that we can help a child ignite their passion, or at least just light that little spark, and then they could pursue it, and even if it just becomes a hobby and not a career path, it's something else that is that niche that they would have not, you know, an opportunity that they may not have otherwise been exposed to, and that's what we're all about.
Definitely. And so how do how do students get engaged with the Sarah Heinz House? Like how do they link up and become a part of this?
Yeah, so we say there are no restrictions for hanging out with us. So we serve kids from over 100 zip codes in the city and over 100 schools in the city. So although we're located on the north side, that is by no means a barrier to entry. And we serve kids from all backgrounds and socioeconomic classes. And so really, I like to say we're a salad bowl, and that's part of our secret sauce, is that kids are mixing from different neighborhoods and schools and backgrounds and races and cultures and socioeconomics, yet all being celebrated for the uniqueness that they bring to the table. And you know, it's really special. So they can find out about us on our website. We work a lot with school districts to share our information. And you know, we're relatively inexpensive to join. It costs $25 a year to be a member in our after school program.
Just $25.
$25 a year for our core programming plus a free meal. And then if you wanted to take offshoot classes like dance or robotics, there are small nominal fees for that too, but they're 10 weeks of dance for maybe, you know, $45. So,
wow, that's a deal. I think I want to take some dance classes. Wow.
Hopefully you have better moves than me.
I don't know, man. I can maybe do the robot a little bit, but not too much.
There you go. Lawnmower.
There you go. Even better yet. We might be a good dance couple as far as that is. So tell me, how are you guys working with Pittsburgh Public Schools these days?
So PPS is our largest feeder of students into our after-school programs. And so obviously when the shutdown happened, they were the largest group of kids that we were and families that we were trying to stay in touch with. And so we're always looking to be partners with our districts, whether it's PPS or otherwise, on how to best be wraparound supports for the child. And in the school setting, that looks like making sure that they're, valuing learning and valuing the reason to attend school and not missing, and us providing those academic or enrichment supports that schools can't afford to carry anymore. But in this COVID climate, it really means, how do we support teachers in this environment, and how do we support students that have been displaced from classrooms? And that was whether it was in a hybrid model of where some kids were going to be in the classroom and some kids were going to be virtually learning, or as we find out the reality for PPS right now, where all of the students are going to be virtually learning for the first 9 weeks.
Exactly. So tell me about the whole COVID thing. And I know you guys have been providing so many services through COVID, no matter what, which is why we love telling these stories. Because it's like, I keep saying COVID be damned. Like, organizations are stepping up and they're getting creative in how they're getting their services out there, but they're making sure it happens because they know the need is even bigger now.
I think the nonprofit community has been incredibly innovative and incredibly nimble, and doing it with so few resources to step up. I mean, there's the collaborative nature is not just within Sarah Heinz House, but it's within the nonprofit community as a whole in Pittsburgh. And so what that means for us in the immediate term is that we will be serving as a community learning hub where PPS students will be coming to Sarah Heinz House during the day from 9 to 2 as a structured and supporting learning environment as they go through their synchronous school day.
Okay, it's getting so complicated now.
Yes, it is. But they'll get lunch there, and during their school breaks or their class breaks, we'll be able to get them up and moving in our gyms and engage in them in enrichment activities. But back in the spring, when COVID felt new,
yeah, exactly.
We, like everybody else, tried to say, okay, how do we stay in touch with our kids, engage with our kids, engage with our families? And what that meant for us is that we delivered nearly 200 hours of virtual programming to our kids. Some of that was live instruction, and some of it was pre-recorded because of safety issues and compliance issues with consent forms and things. But we were there for our students from March through May, engaging 3 times a week in a menu of classes. One was a life skills class, one was a healthy choices class, whether that was learning how to make a healthy snack or getting out and doing physical fitness, and then a STEM class. And then a couple of our live classes were engaged in what we call e-textiles, which is really a cool concept where you embed electronics into jewelry or into clothing. And then we did a partnership with PA Cyber School on our sustainable design program to build bat houses. So we sent the bat houses home, taught them all about the value of bats, and then taught them all about how to sustainably design bat houses and engineer them through that class. So it was a lot of exciting stuff. We also made sure our kids and families' basic needs were met. So we were delivering over 10,000 meals of snacks between March and June. And also we serve senior citizens during the day when our kids aren't in the building normally.
Oh my goodness, so senior citizens as well. My goodness, I had no idea.
Yeah, so they're the most at-risk population, so there was no way of thinking about how to bring them back into the building safely, but it was how do we engage you both for your own socialization and to avoid the isolation that was so prevalent in that population, but also to keep them up and moving. And so we did live physical fitness instructions with them 3 times a week. And we're still doing that because not many gyms are open to that population for good reason.
Of course, right. Wow, you guys are just hitting on all cylinders here. I think that's pretty amazing. So if people want to be able, is there any need for volunteers and help and so forth? Is there a way people can be helpful to the Sarah Heinz House?
Absolutely. I mean, we before COVID relied heavily on volunteers to maintain our over 100 weekly programs that we offered. And now, as we open in a modified structure as everybody else, and in a reduced capacity structure, it means that we need more paid staff, but also volunteer staff to help break up those days. To do it safely, our volunteers, we want them to commit to one age group this year, as opposed to some of them spent 6 days a week with us, and now we have to say, sorry, we can't do that this year. So that means I've got to find 4 of the replacements to
oh my goodness,
one person. But You can learn how to volunteer with us on our volunteer page at our website, which is
Great.
sarahheinzhouse.com. Our phone number is also available to answer questions, which is
Great.
412-231-2377. And I'd be happy to share my email address when this goes out. So folks, if they wanted to reach out or had any questions, they could do so.
Oh, fantastic. I'm so glad to know that. We'll put that in the liner notes of this as well, too. Such an exciting story. So glad I got to talk with you today. I mean, the work you guys are doing is it's definitely inspirational, and it's great to know you guys are out there doing what you're doing despite the pandemic, still making such a positive impact on the community and the kids. I just love it. It's so cool talking with you, Jennifer.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. You know, anytime that we can celebrate our kids and celebrate the work that the nonprofit community is doing is an opportunity well spent.
Absolutely. Jennifer Cairns, the Executive Director of Sarah Heinz House, hanging out with me, Jonathan Kersing from the Pittsburgh Tech Council, and of course, Comcast, making this series of stories possible all summer long. Can't thank you enough, Jennifer. Your work and your team's work is absolutely fantastic.
Well, and thank you for Comcast for being such wonderful partners during this time and making sure kids don't go without digital access, because it's vitally needed.
It's been a huge thing, and I tell you what, for sure, Comcast has stepped up like nobody else when it comes to ensuring that the kids have the connections they can get to school and learn. It's been amazing to see how it took right off, and they swooped right in there and made some stuff happen.
And it's been a real stress reliever for parents. I mean, the anxiety that the parents were carrying about wanting their kids to have the tools that they need. So we can't thank Comcast enough for really stepping up big time for families.
Agreed. Thanks so much for talking to me today. Appreciate it, Jennifer.
Thank you so much.